Here we are again. Week after Sparks. Got a few things straightened up around the house. I got home yesterday. It's now Sunday at noon. And I've got a few hours I can work on the truck. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. My wife's at work. And my daughter's spending time with her grandma. So I straightened out a little bit. Moved some bricks around. I don't know if I showed you what my daughter did. Her and her friends took all the bricks and they made that. They figured they were going to make a house, but now they're not playing in it. I can take that big pile back there, throw it in here, and set it on fire. That's what I'm thinking I'm going to do with that. It's a nice fire pit. Don't tell them. They spent a lot of work on that. I'm also dividing up all the blocks that are left that I can use, and I actually want to place them here and extend this part out this way as far as I can with whatever bricks I have left from what I didn't sell. And then I moved a couple other things around back. There's a golf cart. So I moved a few more things around back just so it cleaned up the front. I don't like it looking like a mess the way it is, but finally getting around to being able to do a few things around the house. I got some stuff cleaned up inside. What we're doing today is I'm going to pull that front bumper off and get it out of the way. I bought some paint stripper. I'm going to get that front bumper stripped, probably end up primering it, hopefully today. If not, it'll be next weekend. I don't have to worry about rust on that. If I get all the paint off of it, I can sand it down. But I should be able to get around to doing that, provided everything goes well on the stripping. I got a different kind of stripper because I found out from a friend of mine that if you use the aircraft stripper, it's possible that it can eat through that vinyl or polyurethane, whatever the bumper is plastic made out of. So you don't want to use that unless you spray it on there and then scrape it off immediately. That way you don't mess it up. So I bought some other stuff. It's more green, environmentally friendly, whatever that means. And I'm going to use that, and we'll see how that works out. Another friend of mine on Instagram told me about this, and I'm going to try it out. So that's what we're doing today. It's time to go remove a bumper. I really kind of wish that this chrome was in better shape. I mean, for now it's going to be nice. There's just some spots on here, but I've been using a little bit of lacquer thinner and this freaking t-shirt, this old t-shirt, put a little bit on there, and then I've been rubbing what I can off, trying to make it look a little neater, a little bit more detailed, getting some of it off the overspray on the headlights and whatnot. So, but yeah, everything down here is oversprayed. I'd like to tape this off and then probably just go over it with a little bit of black, because I don't want the background blue to show through to the front, because I want what's in the back to disappear behind the bumper. So when you're down here looking underneath it, it's not standing out. So I'm gonna grab my my can of black spray. I got some satin, and I'm gonna spray this real quick just so that all this can go away. Over here, I've got this stuff right here. This is the kind of stuff I'm using, citrus strip. It says you can leave it on for up to 24 hours. I'm probably not gonna do that. But I sprayed it on pretty thick, and it's really starting to actually bubble up. So I'm kind of happy about that. I don't know how many coats I'll end up having to do on it, but for now, we'll figure it out a little bit later. I'm just gonna let this set up. I might spray another little coat on here. I used just over half a can to get this bumper sprayed, so we'll see. All right, I've done this twice. I've put this paint stripper on here, and it's still not all coming off. It's kind of a pain in the ass to have to scrape it, but I guess, you know, nothing comes real easy. You can't just tell it to get off of your bumper. I wish you could tell it to just get off your bumper, because I would have told it already. So there's actually 1, 2, 3, there's like 4 or 5 layers of paint. I think this last black coat is actually the primer that went onto the bumper, because I think I'm finally down to the bumper and it's black, or gray, I'm sorry, gray. And that's what I'm working on right now, is getting it all down to there. I still got blue, so I've noticed that when I scrape it off and let it sit, it seems like it's still eating at the paint that's there. So I don't know. I'm still scraping stuff off. I'm about ready to be done. This has taken me probably 2 or 3 hours of trying to work on this, and it's getting on my nerves. The truck's still sitting here. I went ahead and painted a lot of the parts down there. See how they disappeared now? You don't see them standing out because there's no blue on them anymore. The one pieces you see standing out is that cable right there, and it's got some color to it, and a little bit of the rust right there and rust right there. You see it standing out. If you can get all that black, when you know the parts that you can see when the bumper's on there, then you won't see that stuff behind the bumper, and the bumper will look better. So the rest of this, I think I'm going to wash it off with a little bit of soap and water, get it nice and clean, and then I'll end up having to sand it down by hand the rest of the way. Well, I also got the windshield wipers off of here. I'm not a big fan of, well, I need new windshield wipers, but I'm not a big fan of windshield wipers that match the paint of the vehicle. I went ahead and sprayed this again with that stuff. I've noticed that the more I actually rub off, the more paint is actually just starting to lift off some more. So I got to give it a little bit of a chance. I think the stuff is very slow acting and slow working. So when you let it sit for 2, 3, 4 hours and then come back and scratch some off, let it sit again, because it's like really it's starting to embed its way through the paint. So I don't know. I mean, I can't think, where the hell did I put that stuff? I got the radio running, so I'm just going to keep talking over it right now because you can barely hear it and I don't get any copyright bullshit. So it's called this citrus stripper. It hasn't hurt the plastic at all, or the vinyl, whatever it is. And I'm really happy about that. So well, I figured while the bumper is getting stripped, I'm scratching the outside of the windows because they had overspray on them. So I'm trying to get a lot of that off of there. And that's just using a regular razor and going over the whole window just to kind of clean it up. And now I can't open the door from right here. I'll have to go around. Anyway, now I don't have to worry about pushing on it. Looks like I got some more glue up in there, just a little bit more. I need to get that off of there as well. Well, this is working out pretty good. The outside will end up nice and clean. That way I'll be able to see exactly what I'm working with on the inside. That's it. You just use a straight edge at an angle and you can get a lot of that off of there. But yeah, you can kind of see where the tint was. Some of that glue still. So let me get this opened back up and get that cleaned up. Well, that's it. Monday morning. April's over there marking her spot. Trash guys are coming around the corner. Fog is lifting. 40 something degrees outside. This is as far as I got. This is gonna have to sit here till next weekend, and I'm gonna sand the shit out of this next weekend. We'll be able to get that primer on there. But yeah, it's just gonna have to sit just the way it is. That stuff just takes forever. I probably would have been better off just sanding it. Honestly. If I would have just used an actual sander, been careful, because you can go down too far with sanding, obviously. That's all I got. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Thumbs up, or at least getting something in on the weekend. But I gotta go back to work. Y'all have a good weekend, or a good week. I'll try to get a midweek video out. I'm not exactly sure. I kind of bounce back and forth. Sometimes I do, sometimes. If I can get a list going of what I'd like to try to get done before turkey drag, then I'll get that video up. But until then, peace, freaks, and stay mini trucking.